Good morning. James Hobart here again with JamesHobartMarketing.com. This is my second video supporting my second blog article, Your Mind's Operating System Part 2. The first video kind of covered some general background on how development took place. I'm going to recap real quick. I started out with the model of the world, which is unique to you, unique to me. It separates us as human beings. It's very unique to us because, again, we had different factors that created that model of the world. I can never walk in your shoes. You can never walk in mine, even though they might fit. Life experience that comes from walking in those shoes is really the difference between the two of us. We all started here, again, with a very basic clean slate. We only landed here with two fears: fear of falling, fear of loud noises. I described the difference between a computer system and our bodily system, which mimics very closely what a computer system is all about. Remember the computer, you got the monitor, you got the keyboard. Again, the mind, physical system, you've got the brain, the spinal cord, all the nerves, and all the nerve endings throughout your body that, again, receive and send signals. So I also pointed out that I'm very big on mind fitness. In fact, if you've read my book or want to dig deeper into something like a mind fitness program, my book, Happiness is Your Birthright, on the market. That's really the focus of it. It is a handbook for the rest of your life. It teaches you how to do mind fitness, which, again, we're all into physical fitness, going to the gym, working out, but we never work out our mind. We just accept that what it is what it is. In reality, if you listen to me last video, I'll develop it further this one, we can change who we are pretty easily, and it does take work. Today, we're actually going to develop and understand the foundation and the evolution that created our life script. Remember, our life script is our running movie. Started from birth. I always say 9 months before, but let's go with birth and wherever you're at today, and of course how far down the road of life you will be. That life script is your running movie, and today, like I say, beyond the model of the world, I want to develop this whole theme a lot deeper. I want you to understand that the mind is receiving message units constantly. Message units, we'll just in fact, daily you receive over 400,000 message units coming in from 4 different sources. The environment. Right now, if I just stop for a second and listen, I can hear the air conditioner going. I can hear sounds outside my unit. Again, the environment gives us information on a consistent basis. The body and its 5 senses constantly give us information. You touch a hot stove, you react. That, of course, is a learning curve on its own, but we do get through our 5 senses: touch, smell, sight, sound. We constantly get information that is adding to that flow of information coming in. Our conscious mind feeds this information. It is our rational mind. That's all we know at the moment before I develop it further, but it is our conscious, rational side of our mind, and it's constantly feeding its information. And the one we never think about, the subconscious mind, it's always feeding us information also and making decisions for us on that 88% of your day that we talked about in the last video. So again, I'm actually going to take this out and start developing the subconscious mind first. When we landed here, like I said in video 1, and I'm saying again, we landed with a clean slate. We only landed with 2 fears, and we also remember at the very base here of this clean slate, we do have primitive mind. Primitive mind was fight or flight. I use the example of a caveman, coming up on a saber-toothed tiger. You can either take off running, flight, or you can play dead. Again, flight also, but he also will stand there and fight. So one of the two is primitive mind. The interesting thing is that this information, like I say, coming in till you reach the age of reason, coming from those 4 areas that I mentioned earlier, lands in this clean slate as positives or negatives. In fact, I always make the point, first reaction to life, to me, is a negative one. We're, swimming around in our mom's womb, nice and warm and cozy. All of a sudden, like I said, things start happening. All of a sudden, we're going through this canal, and boom, I face this room of, people around, talking, bright lights. And one of the first things they do is pick you up by the feet and slap you on the backside to get your lungs going. That to me is a negative experience. So we start out life with a negative experience. We already have two in here: fear of falling, fear of loud noises. What you're going to find in your subconscious mind, which I said, is nothing more than a big old file of information that's gathered from that very first moment, whether you go back as far as I do, or whether you use birth as at that point. Message units constantly coming in, setting up negatives, setting up positives. Once you're paddled on the back and your lungs are going and they clean you up, the next thing they generally do is put you in your mom's arms. Nice, warm, again, contact, that's a positive. Nice thoughts, nice words start coming out of your mom's mouth, whoever's in the room, more positive. So you start seeing how the subconscious mind starts again. And this again is subconscious. Start setting up these files. The mind works on a very simple principle. 21 times of information being presented to it will create what is called a trigger. This trigger actually might be looked at as one sheet of paper. If we're talking file room, we know what is in files are generally sheets of paper. In folders, as we generally are organized about it. But the point again is, 21 times of hearing something, of feeling something, of tasting something, that trigger, that one sheet, from that point on starts building. It starts building. Look at smokers, and I don't knock smokers. We all know it's not good for you, but you're not going to change their mind. They'll stand in front of that mirror with a cigarette in their hand, knowing consciously that it's not good for them. But again, because of the subconscious drive to smoke, they keep smoking. So a smoker's files, 5, 10, 15 years later might be a really deep file to, again, work out of the mindset. In fact, in therapy, I will tell you the two hardest things to get rid of are smoking and weight control, weight loss, because they have both physical and emotional ties to them. Eating is one of those things that we have to do to survive. So there's association with, again, that in the subconscious mind. And it's really hard to break that pattern of overeating because, again, by association, we need to eat. So as you can see, that information coming in from those four sources, 400,000 message units. And then you take a day like today, if you're watching this video, which is generally, I try to keep around 30 minutes, that additional 30 minutes of a lot of information takes that 400,000 to an even higher number. And that is why, again, as I develop this relationship between the conscious and subconscious minds, you'll start seeing that until we reach the age of reason, all we are in is subconscious mode. The subconscious mind does not know right from wrong. It accepts everything. Did you not once believe in Santa Claus? Of course you did. Did you not once believe in the Easter Bunny? Of course you did. Did you not once believe in the Tooth Fairy? Of course you did. All those things we know as adults to be, again, figments of our imagination, but as a child, everything is critical to them because everything is believed. There is no right or wrong in the subconscious. We haven't even started developing the conscious mind yet. We're still in subconscious mode. Until we reach the age of reason, which by textbook today is 6 to 8, as I said in the earlier video, I actually believe kids are maturing a lot faster today. And in some cases, it could be 5, 6 when they've got the age of reason, right from wrong. But until that happens, everything coming in lands, negative or positive, and I made that point in the earlier video, your subconscious houses both negative and positive. Unfortunately, here's that smoker with that really, really deep file. He may be able to cold turkey it. I quit. Very few people that have that capacity because, again, of the thickness of that file. So it takes, again, a program. And 21 days of following the program typically takes them off and starts backing down the sheets in that mind fitness program that, I'm going to teach you in another video. But for the moment, like I say, subconsciously things are coming in consistently, daily, accepted as gospel, not right or wrong. That is why kids that are told you're dumb, you're stupid, you're no good, 21 times plus, start building that file and start becoming that behavior. The subconscious mind, again, has no conscience. It accepts everything, negative and positive. On the other hand, you take a child that's constantly praised, constantly patted on the back, 21 times later, his file system is getting deeper and deeper and deeper in that, again, self-esteem, self-confidence that, we wish we all had. I make the point, if you don't have the self-esteem that you should, if you don't have the self-confidence that you should, a mind fitness program can easily take a negative into a positive. That's what the reprogramming is all about. It does not happen overnight, I got to tell you. And I think I made light of it actually in an earlier video. I came out of a very abusive household, mental and physical, luckily no sexual. But for the moment, like I say, I have been doing mind fitness. In fact, I still do it. But I did it consistently at the gym when I was on the treadmill or the Stairmaster, which was a 15, 20-minute process. And that 15, 20 minutes, that's all I worked on, was changing my mindset, putting in the right affirmation to, again, have my mind start believing it. Because 21 times later, like I said, you can change negatives. You could indirectly change positives to negatives, but that's not the thrust of, again, a mind fitness program. So overall, like I say, now we're going to go to another sheet to kind of show you how the two started working together. Let's keep the subconscious mind down here now. We have problems with returns, with, again, poor customer service, whatever it may be. But in this case, like I say, there was a match. If you aren't of that mindset, if you're one that, believes and goes through life thinking, I'm not that great a person, that file can, again, add to another negative file already in there. If by chance she doesn't find a match in the file room, that information is discarded. In fact, in therapy, we're taught and actually work with the program that your information overload becomes dreams. In fact, if you tell me what time of night you had the dream, I can tell you what kind of dream it is and kind of gear it down to help you out a little deeper or a little quicker into resolving what that issue may be. But again, typically, and you've got to have sleep for this to happen. In fact, if you don't sleep, in fact, that's one of the things that, prisoners of war maybe have to accept. They keep them up 24, 36, 72 hours later. The mind's overloaded and it's very, very tired because, again, there's so much information that hasn't been filtered yet or associated in the file room. So this critical filter, like I say, sits up around 6 to 8. You now have a way of stopping information before it goes in, because before, the subconscious mind, like I said, knew no right or wrong. It just takes everything in. Now that we've reached the age of reason, there's actually a filter here that blocks that information from just going in. So in that 6 to 8 hours of sleep that you have, once you're into deep sleep, because the mind, your body may look asleep, your mind is actually still on. It's in delta frequency, which is very low, but at the same time, this process is going through until she clears that desk and has matched up files or discarded files that weren't there. Remember, until she hears it, sees it, tastes it, touches it 21 times, it's not going to create the trigger to create the file. Beyond that, it adds to the file, depending on which one it is. So you can start seeing what's happening in the subconscious with the balance of negative to positive is where your attitude comes from. Remember, your attitude is a direct reflection of what your subconscious mind is all about. If you're a pessimistic person by nature and see a glass half empty, you're probably overloaded with negatives in your subconscious. On the other side of the coin, if you see a glass half full, you're probably pretty positive. Positive people are easy to, again, associate with. Pessimists or negative people are not. By nature, we have a tendency to be more positive than negative. And again, it depends on the individual. But the point, again, is that we don't like negative people by nature. In fact, if you've ever had them working for you, they disrupt an office, they disrupt a business, and literally have to be at some point let go. So we've got a quick feel here of what has happened in that 6 to 8 year period. Up until this point is reached, everything is coming in and everything is landing accordingly. So again, you can see here that we have more positives than negatives. And again, not saying the negatives are, again, something we couldn't change. We can, but we're typically more positive than we are negative, and that's a great thing. So something else, too, that's interesting to me, let's say you had big ears as a child, and you were teased about it consistently. Today, as an adult, of course, the ears have somewhat, come to align themselves with the size of the head. But if you hear somebody talking about big ears today as an adult, even though you've gone way beyond that, it still kind of hurts inside. That's that subconscious still remembering all that conversation about big ears. So again, very critical to understand that until we reach the age of reason and set up the critical filter, everything comes in, everything is believed. You tell a child 21 times plus, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're no good, guess what? They're going to turn out to be stupid, dumb, no good, because they start believing it and start becoming that person. The other side of the coin, as I said earlier, you praise a child, you guide a child, you direct a child, you're constantly supporting their activity, you're going to have somebody that's got a great positive attitude that will make a difference in life later. So overall, like I say, at this point, you have the subconscious being the storehouse of all desires, emotions, and energy driving you to satisfy them. The imagination resides in the subconscious. In fact, that's why imagining or believing in failure, the negatives, will produce that negative behavior. We're still driven heavily by this 88%. Remember, here we only have 12%. So overall, and that critical filter, like I say, holds it for about a 24-hour period. In that time, your personal secretary has come in while you're asleep, matched everything up. If there were no matches, it discards as garbage. And again, remember your mind, like a computer, is very basic. Garbage in, garbage out. It works both with the computer and, of course, your mind. But overall, we know that sleep is necessary for for mental hygiene. We know that the critical filter is also your personal secretary. I like that analogy because, again, you can see the desk out there with everything landing on it, and her at night coming in to try and match up to, again, existing formulas. We have basically, again, a grassroots foundation here, but at the same time, I still believe in the basic premise. In fact, that's why the book is titled Happiness is Your Birthright. I do believe we were given the ability to be happy, and happiness comes in many forms. I actually position it related to relationships, whether it be family, whether it be, again, wife, children. If your relationships are good, positive, more than likely you're happy, because I've learned, and you probably already know, money will not make you happy. Now, granted, it can buy you a lot of things, but we know in life, looking at people that have money sometimes, big money, they aren't happy people. So happiness really, again, is very basic. It's all about the relationship value you have with other human beings, and that can make a huge difference. My book, like I say, covers all this in depth. It actually gives you that program called Mind Fitness that can literally change your life. And I always make the point, you can change your life script basically one step at a time. To me, if you've not reached your desired level of success, if you wish you could be more stronger, more confident, if things do not always go the way you want them to, then what I'm about to say is really paramount for you to understand. I always have believed, and now know through a scientific approach, that you can be whomever you want to be in life. You can achieve any level of success or business success if you desire, and you can do almost anything you can visualize because you have the ability to set up your own file system for your own success within your life script. I know this information is kind of basic, yet at the same time, it's so basic that sometimes we walk away from it. Well, that can't help me. He really didn't tell me anything I didn't know. The knowing is the application. If you understand this information and are willing to, again, invest in Mind Fitness, 2 or 3 times a week until you start seeing change happen, because thoughts become things. What you think in here produces change out here. Change in you is internal. It doesn't come from the outside. The outside comes from what you have within. We're all quick, again, to feel things in our heart area, our solar plexus area. But in reality, remember, the heart is nothing more than a pump. Your whole life is driven by your mind and again, the computer system aspects of it with the spinal cord, the nerves, and all the nerve endings throughout your body that, again, create who you are. So overall, like I say, I'm expanding my info online along with my blog that I, again, focus on self-improvement, self-empowerment. I'm actually getting into online marketing, and I want to create income from home. I'm already working with a couple of people that have really shown me great things, simple people, down-to-earth people, not expensive ventures to get into, although one could be, and it will be down the road. But for the moment, like I say, I'm finding that the digital age that we're in, the digital information age that we're in, and with the computer technology we have today, if you, again, follow the right person, you can make money from home with very simple systems. I'm not sure that they're all free, but at the same time, there is information out there to allow you to, again, make income from home. So overall, I'm hoping that the information that we shared with you today gives you some insight into looking further into the information. I'll continue to write the articles, look through them. As I asked you before, please bookmark my blog, jameshobartmarketing.com. I will continue to do videos on specific articles, but I will never get away from the basic information that your mind's operating system, video 1 and video 2, give you, which really is the crew of everything. That's where everything, the foundation starts. Good, strong foundation. Story of the 3 little pigs. The one that built on brick is the one that stood under the wolf's huge, tornado-like winds. The wood house and the straw house did not last. So you got to have a strong foundation for change to take place. Hopefully this information will give you some grasp of what you need to do. And if you've got any questions, any concerns on all my articles, you can comment. I'll be glad to get back to you, work with you one-on-one, and help you out in that respect. Other than that, I thank you for your time. I hope that I opened up the door to, again, more development in this area. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.